Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Recently I've tried a few new makeups from different brands such as, TIMAGE. This brand become one of my favorites, like FLORASIS as well. And from a brand called Into You, very interesting. And I tried a new UNNY Club's primer. You know what, let me start from the primer. As you guys know how much I love UNNY Club Roosevelt primer. So I'm very much attached with UNNY Club's face-based product. So when I saw UNNY Club this primer, this isn't new, but I saw this on few Chinese TikTok creators and YouTubers that they recommended this primer. I just didn't even blink, went straight away to their website and got this primer. I have to say, you know what, let me grab the Roosevelt one that I compared two of them. Two of them have similarities, but the feeling of two of them, I have different thoughts. Let me show you the difference first. Formulation, straight away you will tell the difference. This is from this UNNY Club. Let me read out the full name. UNNY Club Watery Foundation Primer. And for Roosevelt, this one, it's more like jelly, gel, that type of texture. So this is Watery Foundation Primer and this is the UNNY Club Roosevelt. When you smudge Roosevelt out, it is starting to melt into your skin right away and become like very wet, that type of texture. Then once it's been absorbed by your skin, it's become a matte. This one, the texture is more like exactly as it's described on its name. It's very watery. It's like very light watery cream. When you smudge out, it has base color. It looks like nude cream color, but once it's being absorbed by your skin, it doesn't really have like a brighten up or lighten up. That type of result is pretty much like melt into your own skin tone. Although you could be darker skin tone, I think this primer would also work for you. It wouldn't make you become like weird gray color on your face or like very fake brighten up, that type of things. That I don't think that would happen to you. And look at the finish. The finish of this primer is more like a semi-matte. It's more reflect to your own skin reflection rather than become like more matte finish. And when I compare those two with same foundation, I feel from pore minimizing's perspective, the Roosevelt one is better. However, from hydrating perspective, this one does last longer than the Roosevelt one. I've tried this a half and a half, and after like 8 hours when wear the same foundation on the face, I can feel, especially surround my nose area, the pores on my skin feels like, oh, I just need a little bit more moist on this side, which result in showing slightly bigger pores appearing on this side compared to this side when I use this watery primer. This side seems just remained as it is. It doesn't get drier, neither gets oily. So this primer is very, very interesting. The overall performance, I would say the Roosevelt is still more visible. As some of you probably see my primer test of this one, especially when you use this as a base, work with some heavier foundation, you really can tell this one makes the difference. From that perspective, this watery primer, it doesn't give you that instant result. This one you need to use for a few hours to really see what this can do for you. This primer works with all my foundations and all my sunblocks so far, which is really a plus, because you know when you use primer, you always use it between the sunblock and the foundation. If anything goes wrong with this primer, it will impact your foundation regardless. This one is a very good connector between the sunblocks and the foundation. That's the key benefit I feel about this. And this one, especially for winter time, works for my skin very well. I'm combined oily skin, although my T-zone can still get a little bit oily, but my cheek area, especially for under eye, like this big triangle part, does get a little bit dry during the winter, and this one can really balance that. And the hydration, once it's been absorbed, it lasts long. It lasts for 8 to 9 hours. It's very interesting. This is very good, I have to say. Very good. And then I bought a TIMAGE new product. This is their new JD Creamy Concealer Palette. My color is 02. This is what it looks like. You have 3 colors, but this is not a concealer. This is like a plate that you can mix colors in here rather than go somewhere else. Like me, sometimes use the mirror as a mixture plate. So this design is really good, and the packaging, you know, as TIMAGE is carries out, is classic color as well, more like Tiffany blue, but slightly different, and it's very sleek, very easy to travel. The concealer, I find something very interesting about this. First of all, let's have a look at the 3 colors. It is fairly standard that you have more salmon orange based concealer color, which is good for dark circles. Then you have a slightly darker shade and slightly brightened shade for covering different area. And this are the 3 colors. You know my feeling about this palette, when I first time received it, when I did the swatches, I was like, this is so thick and sticky in a way. Like when you try to smudge out the surface, it's very hard to smudge. Not like some concealer palettes. Once you smudge out the surface, you feel very creamy, very wet, that type of feeling. This is not. This doesn't matter how long you continue smudging on it, it still feel thick, heavy, and sticky. So when I first time trying this palette, I was like, this is going to be creasing up on my face. This is definitely not friendly for dry skin. But I was wrong. I was completely slapping my own face. I used this today before the foundation as well as after the foundation. When I use it before the foundation, I use it for the under eye area and the blemish marks, certain uneven skin tone areas. I use all of it, and there is no creases whatsoever. Now I use it another time after the foundation. I was convinced that going to be creased up on my face, and I purposely used it for the under eye area. It's so smooth, absolutely smooth. It's just like melted on to the foundation and stayed well. Once you set with powder, it just stays. It absolutely stays, which absolutely surprised me, because the formulation it is not really support that result. So I'm so impressed with this one. And then now let me zoom you in. I had lunch, then come back, did the video. Now it's about 2.5 hours after I done the full face. Now you see the under eye area on the side, here and here. There is no creases whatsoever. There is no creases. And this time, it also comes with a small puff like this. It's called finger puff. So the design is like this. It's like a water drop shape. Then you have a holder here. So all you do is slip your finger in. Look, it's literally like your finger size. And it's so easy to maneuver. And to apply the concealers, like even on the edge for your nose. Today I use it without wetting it. It still works perfectly. Perfectly. It's literally like your finger touch on the concealer and melting it out. The only downside I feel, well, as you expected, because it's a clean puff, so once you layered up the concealer, if you smudge on top of the concealer, it does reduce the coverage, so you have to build up again. It just works better if you remain the middle area, only smudge the edges. It makes the concealer area like very gentle and soft transition to the other area. This design is really cute and really good, effective. TIMAGE is really good. Then let's finish TIMAGE. This time is the first time I bought their lipstick. First of all, have a look at the packaging. Have a look at the packaging. How sleek it is. How beautiful it is. And all you do is you press the button. It comes out with the product. The color this time I got is 105, which is the color on the lip. The lipstick, it is so creamy and silky. When you glide on your lip, you literally feel slippery. That's how smooth and easy to glide on the surface. Even when you do the swatches, you feel like it's slippery. But it's very high pigment. It pretty much covers your entire lip color. So even you have a dark lip color, you still can use this lipstick. It doesn't emphasize your lip lines. It's so easy to glide it on and so easy to smudge the edges as well. The finish is semi-matte. It's more like a satin finish. It's very, very beautiful formulation. The only thing I would say that I'm not overly impressed with the color design itself. It's a beautiful color, don't get me wrong. It's very like a classic watermelon brick brown red. It has good level of brownness in there. But you are so easy to find dupes, even from drugstore. So apart from the color design itself, I think the formulation is really, really good. Next one is from KIKO. This is the Invisible Touch Face Perfecting Powder, Translucent Pressed Powder. This powder is absolutely worth its hype. The product itself is not new, but the one I bought is in a slightly newer edition because they have the lotus like a covering on the surface. I don't think you can see the details anymore as I used quite often and quite a while. This translucent powder, oh my god, was so in hyper recently. Not recently, for about half a year now, but I never really gone into it until I actually tried myself. This powder, when you touch itself, is very much reminds you NARS pressed translucent powder, which is, you know, the standard cover. This is a limited edition, but the standard cover is in black. Cover is very much reminds me this. When you, let me just put them next to each other. When you swatching them, you will actually feel the KIKO one is even more fine and silky. It's silky to a level of slippery. It's literally once you apply this on your skin, you feel your finger can just slip through. That's how silky it gets. And originally, I thought the NARS one, as is, you know, high end, the grinding technique would make the powder more fine. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. KIKO is completely win this time. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see the swatches on top here. The stripe over here is KIKO, and here is from NARS. Let me tilt my hand a little bit. You probably see slightly. The finish, two of them is very, very similar. Both of them give you a matte glow reflection. which means when you look into the mirror, when you just pat the powder on, it looks matte. But when you're facing natural daylight or facing some room light, when you tilt your face, it actually gives you a skin glow finish. To compare two of them, KIKO's reflecting is even better than NARS one. Basically, this is slightly more visible compared to NARS one. NARS one would be more subtle when you're facing the lighting, and the KIKO's one, you really can feel your face is very tender and fine. And the powder itself, just when you touch the surface, you don't feel any powder on there. You just feel you touch like a wet soap. That's the best way to describe it. You feel like you touch wet soap. That's how slippery, gliding, creamy, soft, and smooth that when you touch this powder. And when you apply it on the face, it fills up your fine lines so well. It doesn't emphasize your skin condition, but it fills it up. You visually reduce the fine lines that's showing on your face. And when you see my hand, this area, I got very close now. I think you guys probably now can see a little bit. It fills up the skin gaps so well. Now you can see the reflection, can you? A little bit over here. And when you touch the finished surface, you feel your finger is gliding. It's literally gliding off your face. You feel so nice to touch. I have to say, for the experience, for the finishing, for the level of fine of the powder, KIKO absolutely win everyone from that perspective. The only downside, or not really downside, and the only small point that we need to be careful is this is not designed for oily skin. Even for combined oily skin, I'm in winter time, it still only lasts for about 3-4 hours. After 3-4 hours, my T-zone will getting face oil out, and after about 5-6 hours, surround my nose area, the face oil will come out. It doesn't last as long as the NARS one. That's the only side to remember. But if you're dry skin to normal skin, you would absolutely love this one. Oh my god, this is really good. This is very much competing with all the pressed translucent powder that I have in my hand. This is, yeah. Last two are the eyeshadow palette from Into You. It is their full color eyeshadow palette. I have two colors. One is PB01 and one is OL01. These are the two palettes. So this one, OL01, is more like olive green and with more coral peach undertone. And this one is slightly more standard. This is more like a smoky, earthy paddle color. I have to say I'm very much surprised by the color they created. Because to be honest, when you're just looking at the palette itself, are there similar colors out in the market? There are tons of. There are tons of similar colors available in drugstores. Not even talk about the high end, but tons of drugstores, brands are doing similar colors. But I have to say, the color they created, it is up a level. Let me talk about the olive base first, which is the one I used on my eyes today. The color they created is very attention to details. This is the full colors from this palette. The pigmentation is very friendly for beginners. It is medium pigment. You can build up as well. And this shimmer color over here, it is very pretty. It's like, as you can see the finger mark over here, it's more mashed potato, like jelly, that type of texture. But when you see the matte color, it is very smooth, very easy to be blended out, and you don't see the cakiness at all. It's very easy to achieve a very nice classic eye look. You don't need a high-end blending technique to work with this palette, which is absolutely a plus. Why I'm saying this color combination is really good is when you look into the details, none of the color is very green or olive green, that type of color, although it has a good amount of hint in there. You can tell this is olive based green color, but it has good level of brown and gray in there. This coral peach color as well, you can tell it has good level of brown and gray in there, which made the four colors work so well with each other. It's really not easy to make some lovely olive color that also works for light yellow skin tone, because often a green color, if you don't make it right, it can looks either odd or looks dirty on your eyes. But this is very, very pretty and works so well with our eye shapes and the skin tone. This shimmer color is not a high reflection or like very shiny color. It is like a sparkle dust when you apply on the eyelid. Let me show you. Can you see? When you tilt it, you can see the dust appearing on your eyelid. That's the part I really like this palette, is the quality is way outstanding compared to the price. It carries pretty much a high-end color design and the quality. Let me quickly do the swatches for this palette as well. And have a look at the details of those matte color, how smooth it is. There is no like little dot powdery things. It's all just glided on very, very beautifully on your skin. And this color is my favorite from this palette. Again, this set, when you just look from the palette itself, you probably say, it's like a standard earthy rosy color. But when you look at it into detail, it has so right level of gray and smokiness in each color, which make your eye looks really go into another level. To add the right level of grayness in those eyeshadows are really, really not easy, because gray, I feel, in the makeup world is a color that very important but also very dangerous, because if you didn't put the right amount, it really can destroy the entire color, especially for light yellow skin tone. When you use gray, it can very easy to make your face looks dirty. It looks like mud on your face rather than something look very high classic. But this eyeshadow palettes, it just have a very good amount of it, especially when you're looking at this two base color. It has like good amount of brown and gray, but it's more like a paddle based color. And the shimmer color, once you dust this on your eyes, because the base color matches this main color very well, so when you blink your eyes, you don't see additional shade on top of it, but the lovely, beautiful, fine sparkle. I have to say, this time I'm very well impressed by Into You eyeshadow palettes. And the price is so nice. The price is so good. So if you guys are looking for some more summery or like full season colored, easygoing, no-brainer, try Into You. Okay, I think we're done for today. Hope you liked today's video, and I hope you also find informational, somehow helpful, or you feel relaxed by watching my video. That's the whole purpose for it. If you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to click the like button. And most importantly, you guys know what I'm going to say, to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon.